Now moving on to another attacking trio that featured this morning. Liverpool with Mo Salah, Sadio Mane and Diogo Jota in what was a brilliant tactical masterclass from both sides. Man City dominated that first half, and obviously Jurgen and his team in that second half made changes. They really made some great tactical changes, and it was a wonderful game to watch.
Yeah, sometimes when Liverpool and Man City hit these kinds of heights, you just think they're playing a different sport to everybody else. I mean, Chelsea, don't get me wrong, has played some fabulous stuff since Tuchel took over, and they've also been incredibly defensively resilient, and that's why they're probably still my pick for the title. But when Liverpool and Manchester City come up against each other, you really see the sport being kind of stretched to its limits, and I think it's the most tactically advanced and adventurous football that you're likely to see. Sometimes when City play against other opponents who don't take the risks that Liverpool do, the games can be very, very dour, and it's just one team with the ball and one team setting up shop on the edge of their own penalty area, like a peak Jose Mourinho bus parking exercise. But Liverpool take the game to them, and honestly, they were really struggling. They were second best for the first half, and City should have taken the lead. Bernardo Silva was just doing bits, taking on 3-4 players at once.
Insane.
Just a wizard in those tight spaces, and the heir apparent to David Silva's throne, I think. He's already sharing a surname, so that helps. But Liverpool, largely through their talisman Mo Salah, came back into the game in the second half, and his solo goal was incredible to put them in front.
Unreal.
Just incredible. But I think an even clearer example of just how much Liverpool rely on Mo Salah's brilliance in these big games is the assist for Sadio Mane's. And if you only watch the highlights, you'll see a brilliant assist. But if you watch the mini-match or the full game, you actually see the entire build-up to the goal. And it starts with the goalkeeper playing the ball to Matip. And Matip has absolutely nowhere to go. And then suddenly, onto the corner of the screen, comes Mo Salah presenting for the ball down the flank. And Matip kind of thumps it, hopefully, towards him. And he takes it like... It's like there's super glue on his foot. It's ridiculous.
Unreal.
And then he combines with a short pass, a little 1-2, wriggles free. And this is still when he's in his own half. And then eventually he gets over the halfway mark and just bursts clear through, a sea of defensive legs, plays the perfectly weighted through ball, and Mane applies the finish. It was just ridiculous. Just a one-man team at times. And Mo Salah is approaching the heights of his, 40-goal plus season he had a couple of years back, and should be in conversation for the best player in the world right now.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because when we talk about best players in the world, right, it's not just about how you perform in a team, but in a team that needs you in moments where they're underperforming. And Liverpool were underperforming. That first half, Man City were all over them. Phil Foden tearing up James Milner on that left-hand side. And before that Mo Salah goal, you felt that City was still in control. And to be able to take the ball, dribble it, and set Sadio Mane up, sets him up, as one of these players in the conversation of the best in the world at the moment. And I want to reel off some numbers for you, just so that we get some context to how good he has actually been for Liverpool. So in 204 games, so these stats are before this morning's game, obviously. But in 204 games, he scored 126 goals, 45 assists. So now he's 12th on the club's all-time top scorers, and he boasts a goal for every 133 minutes that he's played. And that number is more than legends. You're talking more than Ian Rush, Steven Gerrard, Robbie Fowler, Kenny Dalglish, Michael Owen. When you have this conversation around who's the best player in the world right now, do these numbers and performances justify Mo Salah as being part of that conversation?
I think they do, especially at a time when, Ronaldo's having his intermittent struggles at United and the team isn't playing to their potential, and Messi's still acclimatizing to PSG and we haven't seen the best of him. And, both those players are probably not over the hill, but past their individual peaks. And you don't really have another contender to the throne outside of the Premier League. I mean, maybe Karim Benzema at the moment is absolutely tearing it up. I don't know if you'd put him in that conversation. It's hard to think of another pretender to the throne, I suppose. Even in Serie A, which has seen some fantastic football, but there's not one outstanding individual talent in that league. So I would probably say it's Mo Salah's Ballon d'Or to lose at this point in time. I mean, maybe Mbappe is still in the conversation, even with the rumours swirling around his future. He's still putting in good performances, but perhaps being on the same team as Neymar and Messi maybe takes some votes away from him. So I don't know. I think Mo Salah is individually the best player in the world right at this second. Whether that continues throughout, the next calendar year or so, I'm not sure. But there is no team that is both relying on one player so heavily but also playing such good football, if you know what I mean. Because most of the teams that are relying on one individual player are not contending for trophies. That's the way modern football has gone. So the fact that Mo Salah is so clearly the best player in that Liverpool lineup and putting in performances like this against quality opposition and just scoring goals with such ease, like against a variety of opponents in a variety of situations, makes me say that he is right now the best player in the world.